So when I first launched my business, it was because I was working during my childbirth. I was a media executive and I found myself working during delivery. And I realized I love my job, but this is not how I envisioned it going. If you're not showing up on camera, something is holding you back. Why am I not showing up on camera if it's a goal of mine? If you want to craft a business and a career that lets you be in charge, craft a career you love.
We love blaming external stuff, the market, our circumstances, other people. But honestly, it usually comes down to how we see ourselves. Your self-image is either your biggest asset or your biggest roadblock. I break down how to shift this in a free training I just dropped. Check it out in the description below. Welcome back to Super Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm your host, Shahid Durrani, the show where we dive into the minds of high-performing, high-net worth entrepreneurs, innovators, and world-class leaders. If you're someone who's always looking to grow, push limits, and think and do bigger, you're in the right place. Today's guest is someone who knows how to turn attention into income in the most authentic way possible. Kim Rittberg. Kim is a digital marketing strategist, award-winning video coach, a host of a popular podcast called The Exit Interview. She's worked at powerhouse medias such as Netflix, People, and US Weekly. And now she's helping entrepreneurs and professionals stand out online with video and podcasting that actually connects. Welcome to our show, Kim. Great to have you.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So you help so many people become more visible through video. What's something you think entrepreneurs are completely getting wrong when they try to show up on camera?
I think the biggest thing that we're getting wrong is that we exist in what I call supermodel mode. And we think everyone is judging us, not just the physical, but we think everyone's looking at our hair, our outfit, our voice. It's too deep. It's too high. It's too low. But the truth is people really are in it for the message. And so we have to shift out of supermodel mode and into teacher mode. A teacher's at the top of the classroom, right? They're not worried about what they look like. They're not worried about how they sound. They're just focused on their message. And even people who think, I'm okay with how I look. I'm not that self-conscious. If you're not showing up on camera, something is holding you back, whether it's insecurity, imposter syndrome, concerns you don't look or sound good. You really have to pull the layers back and say, why am I not showing up on camera if it's a goal of mine?
Yeah. Well said. It's so important in today's marketplace or today as an entrepreneur, not to be on video. I was super consumed with what other people may think of me on camera when I started. Even my social media posts, I would post mostly of famous people and their quotes. So I'll put an image and then I'll put a quote so I don't have to put myself on. And, it's coming from childhood, obviously, that I had to work on. But it was always about what they thought of me and that would hold me back. I remember feeling so nervous. What if I make a mistake? What if I don't know what to say? What would they think of me? And then some family members would come in and a story would play that they're making fun of me. You know what I mean? Like it was just a clip of some kind of a story that I would tell myself to even reinforce that belief. But how I replace that fear is by working on the self-talk directly.
Sure.
So working on my self-image, so I started doing self-talk, visualizing, creating that confident person on camera. So I started seeing myself doing that. And I started seeing myself not worry about people and not in a negative way, in a positive way, that I'm just here to add value kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I noticed the more I did this and the more I acted that part, the more I got comfortable with the camera and it changed everything.
Yeah. And I think, I'm honest about the fact that even though I had been in media for 15 years, Netflix, Us Weekly, I was a TV producer. When I had to start showing up for my own business, it took me a while. Like I heard those same negative voices and I am literally like an award-winning video producer. Of course, I know the skills. I think it's important just to be real with ourselves. And a lot of people say, no, I'm fine with myself on camera. I say, okay, then why have you not posted one video in 12 months? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you, but I'm saying peel back and figure out the reason and then use your why. So I ask people, okay, identify your motivation, right? Do you want to grow your business? Do you want to make an impact? Do you want a more flexible lifestyle? For a lot of people, this new world of digital businesses, online flexibility has created all new opportunities. Like, so for me, I want to do what I'm good at, but I also want to be able to see my kids for dinner every day. And for me, that pushed me through. I was like, yeah, I feel a little cringy on camera. Like maybe I'm a little robotic at first, and over time you get better, but you have to say, this is important to me. I'm going to prioritize this. And then once you say this is important to me, I can teach you all the tips and tools and tactics, but that mental block is real and people need to acknowledge it first before they get into it.
So it's inner work that needs to be done. Yeah, good point.
Absolutely.
So for the audience, I'm trying new things, always learning from others, because I have a beginner's mindset and I'm always looking to be mentored and coached by others. I don't believe I know it all, so I just try to improve. And so if you ever felt awkward on recording a video of yourself, please drop a yes in the comments and definitely get in touch with Kim to see how she can help. So I appreciate you guys and thank you for tuning in to YouTube folks and audio. So Kim, you've had content on Netflix and US Weekly. They're obviously giants in storytelling. How did those environments shape your own voice when it came to building your personal brand?
Sure. I mean, I think that tonally, we all have things that we are drawn to. And I think the most important thing is really having a clarity of message of who you are. So I have a thing I call the 4 C's. The first is confidence, like what we just talked about. Really believing I'm here, I should be out there. And another C is clarity. You have to know who you are, why you're different, and what's special about you. Netflix is different. It's not just a streamer. It knows exactly who it is. And every time you see it, it knows exactly who it is. Us Weekly, my job was to take the magazine and the online brand and translate that to video. They knew who they were. And it was me to say, okay, how do I take that brand and translate it to video in new ways? Not just, this article turned it into a video, really pushing the envelope to say, like, what new video series can we create that feel on brand and fun, clarity of brand and clarity of message. And that means every time you make a video, you have to know who you are and what you're talking about, but also every single video, one message, one video, one message. Super simple. We're really busy. We have 8-second attention spans. You got to get people quickly and you got to be really clear. So I think the clarity is something that was always there for me at these companies. Like the sort of content I would make for Netflix or the sort of content I would make for Us Weekly is not the content I made when I was in cable news. That's a totally different brand. It's a totally different message. So it's really thinking about, let's say there's 5 of you. Imagine like 5 of you, competitors, exact same industry. What makes you different? Don't overthink it. Don't let it be like, I'm not different. It's like, you are different. You yourself makes it different, but you have to really, really be clear on that and always show up as that. We all have Google. We all have ChatGPT. Everybody can write the same stuff. That's not a thing anymore. So really bringing in your unique perspective.
Yeah. Unique. I like that. That sounds awesome. It's always that important, right? To bring that authenticity of who you are. And, this word has been used a lot since COVID, but it really is true, just to bring your own self, the one that you would have at home in front of your kids, like stuff, that personality, just bring it. You don't have to complicate it. Just like Nike says, just do it and get yourself on camera, but create that belief system that everything's okay. It's okay if you're not perfect. It's okay if you don't know the lines at times and you stutter or you make a mistake. People are generally going to comment. That's just the way it is, but we have to have that barrier of have that confidence, like you mentioned, within to know that what you're doing is purely driven based on what you're trying to provide people, the value, right? If you focus on that, you just start feeling better too.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you're coaching someone who's terrified of being judged on camera like I used to, what's one little shift that helps them unlock their true personality fast?
So I love your question about fast. I think that's relative, but I think the most important thing is just consistency in doing it. So that's another C that I teach: confidence, clarity, consistency. You have to keep doing it. It's like you can't go to the gym once and then the next day you're like, my muscles aren't bigger. How come my muscles aren't bigger? You just have to do it consistently. And I think it just takes a while. I mean, I did some on-camera reporting when I was a producer for national cable news. On the weekends, I wanted to do on-camera reporting. And already I was a national producer. I knew how to write stories. I knew how to tell stories, but showing up on camera is a different skill. It is a audio, video, communication-based, verbal skill. So when I went on camera, my first clips were like, hello, this is Kim Rittberg reporting for Files Fun News. And that's not my voice, and that's okay. It took a little while to get that comfortable voice where it's more conversational, it's less stilted. That takes time. A, work with a coach. B, put in the reps, and then just be easier on yourself. The first video sucks. The third video sucks a little less. The fifth video sucks a little bit less. It just takes time, and just don't be your worst critic. Like, we are our worst critic. And if you're waiting for a perfect video, you're never going to do it. And if you don't put in the consistency, you don't put in the reps, you're never going to get better. It is impossible to be better on camera without consistently being on camera. So if you're like, I'll do it when I have a fancy video crew in my house, that's too late. You need to be consistently talking to the camera, consistently showing up. Even if you don't post it, you have to talk to your camera. You have to record yourself. It's just a different muscle. It is not a normal, natural thing to speak to an inanimate object. And that's okay. It just takes practice.
Inanimate object, the camera.
Because we're in this era of technology and digital and social media, we take it for granted. Like, oh, just talk to your camera. I've trained hundreds of people. I've trained thousands of people in seminars, workshops, one-on-one work. Like, I have met so many people. And the truth is, you can't just say, hold up your camera and record. It's not a natural motion. And that's okay. We just have to acknowledge it is okay. If I said to you, take up your water bottle and just start talking to it, it's like, that's kind of weird, right? So we have to acknowledge that it makes you feel a certain way, and understanding that says to you, okay, this is just a new skill I need to acquire. Instead, we act like everybody should just record themselves and it's totally natural. It's not natural, and that's okay. Put in the reps, put in the work, do the mindset work, then use the practice skills. And I have a free download of how you can get comfortable on camera. You can visit kimrittberg.com/tips, or you can message me on Instagram or LinkedIn. But it's just really important to say it's a new skill that we need to acquire. You need training, you need a coach, you need to take a class. That's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Now, people, we tend to shift behaviors. And for example, we'll try to do this more often, recording the video. Maybe we do it for a couple of weeks, but then we fall back. Something happens, a thought comes, we make some excuses or reasoning that we do within, and we stop it, for example. Then a couple of weeks later, we come back. I noticed is that if the belief isn't there on the subconscious level, it's very difficult to keep it. Even if you do it for 30 days, like they say, to change a behavior, you haven't done the foundational work, the feeling, the emotional side of you for that activity. I feel like there's a tendency for it to kind of bother you, right? Unless you create that as a belief system in your core.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I noticed that you rebranded Mom's exit interview to the exit interview. Can you share that decision? You know, what happened that you wanted to do that?
Sure. So when I first launched my business, it was because I was working during my childbirth. I was a media executive, and I found myself working during delivery, and I realized I love my job. I love the work I do, but this is not how I envisioned it going. And so I personally was driven. My why was do work that I love, but in a way that I can see my kids. And so for me, it was something I was thinking about as a parent. And so I launched my podcast, like, how are people balancing work and their, not necessarily businesses, how are they crafting their careers that work for them as a parent? What I realized over time is what I'm really teaching people is anyone who wants to pave their own path, whether they're parents, whether they're not parents, no matter what, it's really more the common thread is, do you want to craft a career you love, right? Do you want to build a business? That's not the primary thing. It's the common thread is, if you want to craft a business and a career that lets you be in charge, we should talk. And so that's why I changed it to the exit interview, because it really wasn't really about parenting at all.
Understood.
And so I think over time, I'm realizing, a lot of my clients, some are parents, many aren't, many are dog parents, many are wanting to build their own business because they want flexibility. They want to travel the world. Other people are like, I just want to make as much money as I can. So I think that the common thread was that everyone is self-employed and that they wanted to really build a business that makes sense for them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you for answering that. Hopefully I didn't dig, I was just trying to understand that shift.
That's good. Yeah.
Because
I just realized as my business evolved, what I realized was my business, not evolved, my business had been growing, and that my podcast had kind of been stuck with why my personal experience, but that's not really aligned with my business, because my business is come as you are. If you're building a business for yourself, like, you're my client, right? If you need to sell, if you need to make people like you and trust you, we should talk. It doesn't matter if you're a parent or not. It really doesn't. It's really about crafting a career that you love.
Yeah. So let's say someone has only 60 minutes in a week to create content and start publishing videos. What's your simplest strategy to help them stand out and still grow with that time availability?
The most efficient way to make content is, I'm sure you've heard the term batching. It's basically doing a lot at the same time. So we're in a multitasking world, but actually it takes time for your brain to shift back and forth. So if you're going to sit down and film a video, don't film one video, film 4 videos, and then take that time to then finish the videos, as simple or as involved as you can. If you hate tech, no problem. There's all of these amazing AI tools that can do it for you. If you like to edit, do it yourself. If you want to hire someone to do it for you, fine. You should film your own videos. It should be you on camera. Video is the most effective tool. It gets shared the most. People say they want it. Like people actually, they interact with video the most, but also social media promotes video. So I would say sit down, instead of filming 1 video, film 4 videos. Either outsource it or edit it yourself with an amazing AI tool. The most important thing is like finish it. So write up a tiny caption, put it in your scheduler, whatever, then like make it happen. Don't have like a whole folder full of content that you like didn't do anything with. So I think that's really important, is like, don't let that content just sit there.
So AI tools, do you have any recommendations to do some funky editing to videos?
I mean, I really think for everybody, play around and see what you like. CapCut, super easy to work with. I used to use InShot, also really easy. I'm talking about, these are not things that I tell my video editors, they don't tell me about. They use like more advanced tools. These are things for everyday people. Yeah, they use Adobe Premiere, they use whatever. Yeah. But regular people, I would say CapCut's amazing. InShot's really good. If you're doing a podcast, people love Riverside, Descript. All of these things have kind of similar tools. You go in, you record something, AI will chop it up for you if you want. Like, I think it's really, there's a lot of tools out there. It really depends on what you enjoy using. And also, if you hate tech, you don't like tech, it trips you up, it takes too long, get someone else. Hire someone else to do it for you. I think that's really important to say, where should I be spending my time? So like for me, there are certain things I'm like, I shouldn't put my time here. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. It's going to take me a really long time. Those are the parts of my business that I outsource.
And the batch work is very much easier and efficient with a podcast, for example, right? Totally. That you can chop it up in so many pieces.
And the one thing about a podcast I would say though, is like, you really have to be like really focused on what the content is of your podcast that is going to like really attract people. 2 boxes talking is like not really the best video for social media. That's not really what people respond to. So think about like, can I use this idea and make it in a different way? Can I show just one person talking?
Animations.
Like animation, just really things that will keep your videos more interesting for people. Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, even with Alex Hormozi, when he started, you know, one of the reasons why he exploded so quickly was his uniqueness in editing. You know, his videos was standing out, right? Yeah. So for entrepreneurs watching this, please, if you're on YouTube, it's easier to comment audio. You really can, unless you leave a review. You know, if you can share with us, what's your biggest roadblock
in making content right now? Is it time, fear, ideas? Please share with us in the comments. You know, we would love to help wherever we can. So you often talk about how content isn't just about selling, right? It's about connecting. So true. Can you walk us through a moment when one piece actually changed someone's brand or life, you know, just one piece of content that made a difference?
Sure. So I have a program called Video Bootcamp that people go through, and it's literally a training program like bootcamp, but for video. So it puts you on camera. It gets you confident on camera, and it actually forces you to be on camera. And I teach people how to write great content and how to make great content, everything from getting on camera to actually making and posting good content. I have had clients make hundreds of thousands of dollars extra on top of their already existing salary directly from videos. They are getting clients that are saying, okay, I've been watching you for several months. I really feel like you're an expert. I wanted to connect with you. Do you have room in your schedule for a new client? Like really directly from video. So I think that a lot of people think that it's just kind of a nice to have. They're doing it because they feel like they should be, but it's a game changer. It's a game changer. One of my clients in Houston, her name is Jessica. She started showing up and we were kind of really letting people get to know her and her unique perspective. We brought in the fact that like she's a business owner and has some little kids and like kind of making her more real, showing more of her real life. I mean, literally last year, she made several $100,000 additional in income because she was able to bring in additional clients through social media. And that's happening a lot. Like I have another woman in Canada, the same thing, another person in New York City. And so it's really important. It can do so many things. So it can bring in clients. I've had another client bring on a speaking engagement. She got a big speaking engagement from one video. Another client got a lot of podcast interviews. Another client got a press hit. So no matter where you're looking, whether you want to be a thought leader, you want to bring in revenue, you want to grow your impact, video can work for all of those things.
That's great. So is it automated?
Automated? How so? You mean?
Like like, is it AI driven or is it just basically a course where you actually learn from A to Z?
Oh, no, I do live coaching. I actually teach the course. So it's live coaching with me. It's called Video Boot Camp. I take people through, there's like 8 modules that we learn. Everything from how to get on camera confidently, how to write good scripts, how to actually make good videos, how to connect directly with clients, what to say to them, how to have collaborations, everything. But it's a live coaching program that I have called Video Boot Camp.
So would you do another quick live coaching with me? I would love your feedback and tell me what you think. You know, like any recommendations for me or any coaching for me?
Well, I would have to like do a screen share and a feedback session with you.
Oh, like not like right now as we're speaking, there's no real coaching or feedback you can provide.
Well, let me see. I could look up online. I'll look you up online. Okay.
All right.
And
don't worry about my feelings. You know, you can be honest.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Okay. Hold on.
All right.
Okay. So number one, I would say, okay, I'll give you some feedback. I'm looking at your podcast page, right?
Okay.
So really important. So for listeners here, I'm looking at Shahid's Instagram page. Is that good? Look at your Instagram page?
Yes.
Okay. So what we always want is we want people to come to your page and know exactly what you're about and exactly what each video is about. So the first most important thing is the hook. So whatever each video is about, let's say this video is about like the biggest mistake you're making on video. That's a good headline. And then you should show maybe me and you, but like you want the headline. So what I'm seeing for a couple of these covers is I'm just seeing the words over the course when we look at, I'm going to do. So me as a user, I actually don't know what I'm getting from that video. So I'm not going to click. But if
more specific,
I'm going to do, that person's like, I'm going to fly to Canada for this thing today, or like, you just blew my mind. Like I would look at like, maybe you just blew my mind, or
it has to be a proper hook
to
get their attention.
Yeah, it has to be a proper hook. So that's the cover, that's the hook or the headline, or you could just make a pretty Reels cover. That's the main thing. I would say I'm not clear on what each video is.
No, that's good. No, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of live coaching. I'll send you the invoice later. Okay. I'll send you the invoice later.
Okay. No, it's great. No, it's great. These kind of things people like, right? They like to see, live interactions and what we can do.
They want to know, is Kim full of it? Is Kim full of it? No, Kim's actually looking. Okay. Kim's not full of it. She knows what she's talking about.
Yeah. You can always tell energetically these things, just the power of a human intuition. But also the fact is that you lead with results, right? That's the beautiful part.
Yeah, of course.
Have these programs available. Come, you want to check me out? That's how I do it. Say, okay, if you want to test me, I have everything available. That's worth thousands of dollars for free. Test me, come. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
I'm putting it all out there and I'm saying, come, follow the instructions, follow what I'm sharing, do the work, and you will see transformations. Yeah, exactly. That's how I can prove it. And I'm not going to take a dime from you. Right. So that's how I prove it. And that's wonderful that you're doing this for people because it's so important out there. All these little intricacies in business matter.
Yeah.
It's not just simply setting up a company and creating a logo. There's so much more to it. So I appreciate it. Was there a point in your life when you actually hit rock bottom and you elevated yourself? Was there some kind of internal transformation you dealt with?
I mean, I will say that working during childbirth and realizing like, this is all so pointless. What am I doing? I think that was a real identity crisis. And then I worked really hard for a long time in media. It's really one of those jobs. It sounds glamorous. It's very hard. Like if you've made it, New York City is the #1 market in all of the US. If you're making it in New York City, like it's just hard. Like the hours are long. People are tough. It's very competitive. Every single person wants to move to New York City, get a job in media. So by the time I had felt like I made it, and then I found myself working during childbirth, then I quit media. I was thinking like, you're so connected. Your identity is so connected to your job. Is anyone going to hire me again? Like who is going to respond to my emails? Like who's going to work with me? And that was so narrow thinking, but I was like really feeling total existential crisis of like, who am I? And so I think that was just a really big identity crisis for me. And I like to be real with people that it's not always just like, hey, like, I left media and then I launched my business and now everything's amazing. It's like, it was really hard. Like it was really hard. I didn't even launch my business for 2 years. It took me 2 years before even launching my business because I didn't have it really. I was like, what are people going to hire me for? What is it going to look like? And I had only made a few $1,000s freelancing between jobs before. I didn't really know how I could make like a real career. And so it took a while for me to get my head around that, but it's the best decision I ever made. I am like the avatar for all my clients. Not only do I have a really thriving coaching business and I love helping people, but I'm speaking. Like I have a TEDx in May. I'm a keynote speaker, a paid keynote speaker. I'm writing for Fast Company. So not only do I love the work I'm doing, like with my clients, like that's just incredible, but I am getting to have kind of that like glamorous thing that I did get used to have, which came from the companies, but now it's myself. Like those things are just bullets on my resume instead of the other way around.
Yeah, I love it, Kim. Congratulations to you. Keep going.
I like it because I want to see that for my clients. Like I do this. I do this because like being on video has changed my life. Like the only way that I was able to build this business where I could see my kids is by showing up on camera. And now I'm getting to teach other people that. And so it's just really, it's really gratifying for me.
Yeah. At the end of the day, you're naturally working with the law of cause and effect, right? You're just focusing on doing good for others, and you're giving them these tools that you experience that could help them elevate. You're showing them how to do it from your time. Obviously everybody needs to get paid, right? For what they offer, but that energy that you put into that service, that's where the gold is. If you're just a number with someone is different, but when you care for a client, it changes the dynamics of the actual results as well.
Totally. Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed our talk, Kim. It was so great having you on the show. Thank you so much. For audience, anyone wants to drop a comment about the episode or with Kim, if you have a question, please do. Any debates you want to spark up about video content, please go ahead. We'll love it. Thank you so much. And Kim, appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.